we're going to start with December 31, 1993. Your wedding was on New Year's Eve, and you charged admission. How is that possible?
Well, it's a small town, first of all. And it was my first year at MSU. And small town wedding. And part of the deal was we needed a place to have the dance. And the dance was in the Armory. And I guess the deal was this was not negotiated with Ticketmaster or anything like that. But the deal is for their wedding dances that they charge admission and they take like the first couple $100. And then everything else, the wedding party gets to keep, or the couple. I never saw it. I think my wife had it. I think my wife put it someplace. And yeah, that's how it went. We had talent. We had everybody. There was a blizzard. It was our wedding party and our guests. And then pretty much every town from around there. Live band. It was a good time.
And weren't the Steiner twins there?
They were. Their mom, Lil, actually sang in our wedding. So I've known those guys from like back in the day, and yeah, it was a good time.
Well, you're from North Dakota, so how did you make the connection with the Steiner brothers, being friends with them?
College Park, Maryland. Nationals were there in, would have been, I think, Troy's freshman year, maybe 91, 90. Something like that. And I actually snuck down on the floor. It was a different time. And I snuck down on the floor and yeah, I bumped into him, talked to him, and then I ended up hanging out with him and his family that night. And ever since then, we do some camps together. And my buddy Jeff Schumacher is one of the best high school coaches in the country. He was at Bismarck State College, and he had a huge camp. Guys like Dan Gable, Kenny Monday, Lincoln McElravy going into his senior year of high school was at that camp, and it was 14 days. Oh, Dave Schultz, which was two of my favorite days of my entire life, was chaperoning him. I was in charge of him in between sessions, him and Valentin Jordanov. And so I kind of got to know him there. We stayed at Tim and Lil's house, Terry and Troy's parents, and I don't know, it was pretty organic way of meeting. Yeah, there wasn't, I'm a little older than those guys, but there wasn't, you weren't exposed to that kind of stuff. And I think Terry and Troy said it, okay, I've lived in Minnesota now for 27 years, and wrestling in southern Minnesota, the matches are on the radio. It's kind of, if you're coming from a program that's halfway decent, they always have college guys. That's the thing. They're going to go on to college afterwards, and then they come back for Christmas break and Thanksgiving break. So there's opportunities in North Dakota. There's no D1 wrestling. North Dakota State was the big one. And there's, you didn't have internet access. You basically got amateur wrestling news a month later, and you look in the back and see what the dual meet results were. And, that was a really important, I think, publication because it had stories. It had stories about guys. So these guys were like mythical legends. And, but yeah, you're right. There wasn't, there was a freestyle tournament or two, and that was about it. But Minnesota was ahead, but I think the time was different too. Just the times were different. Like you did all the different sports and everybody pretty much worked, so yeah, you just didn't get a lot of exposure to it.